guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Hey Sophia and today I'm going to be doing a tutorial for roads for you. Everything to do with roads, decorations for roads, the sidewalks, gardens you can do with them, just anything like that. I have just, before I started this video, I've just built 10 different styled roads here, so I'm just going to go through them all with you here and show different things you can do on your roads to make them that little bit more realistic in the game. So the first road style that I've built here is a European cobblestone road. If you have ever been to Europe like myself, you'll know that their roads are very small, they're very tiny, they're in between buildings. Obviously, Europe now does have main roads that are quite big and highways like the Autobahn, but if you're in little cities or things like that, you will find typically cobblestone little roads that are one way. So I've just tried to replicate that here. So I've got cobblestone for my road. I've done it only 4 blocks to make it more a one-way road. Instead, I've also noticed that a lot of people, when they do their roads, to make a gutter or like a footpath, they'll typically just put the slabs right next to the road. I find this can be a little bit annoying just because you're then also having to work with slabs and it can make things a bit difficult. So just to fix that problem but still having your road with a sewage or rain system, I make gutters out of stone bricks. So all I do is I just get a stone brick stair and I just place it like this. As you can see, you then have a gutter channel that runs next to your road, which looks quite nice, very realistic, and I find it's just a little bit easier as then you're not having to work with slabs. So I've also got here for my European roads, I've got just a 2-block wide pavement. I've used a mixture of stone brick, cracked stone brick, and also some stairs. So as you can see here, just to make it look that little bit more aged, because they're normally very old roads, I'm just grabbing a staircase and I place it there, so it just looks like a couple of bricks are missing. So what else I've done for my road here, I've just built like a German style front here for the house, just to show how you can decorate your street per se, because you don't have a lot of room because the roads are quite thin. Normally what I try to do is decorate by decorating the buildings. So you can see here I've just built a little sunshade over this window. You could also do things like using slabs and then putting town banners or store banners there, or you could even get the slabs out, put item frames or signs, so that way you've got like little shop signs, things like that you'll see in Europe all the time. You could also put plant pots at the front if you want. You could use the dirt and the trapdoor method, or something that I like to do as well, grabbing something like a lapis block, just placing it there and then putting a leaf block on top. It does actually look like a decorative pot with a shrub growing out of it, which I think looks quite nice. So you can also do something like that. The other thing that I've got here to decorate with is I've just tried to replicate here a light post, like the oil lamp type ones. So I've just gone a cobblestone fence post, 2 steel, and then I've got I can't remember what they're called, a hopper. And then I'm just using a beacon. You'll notice that beacon lights, they do emit light, so they are quite useful if you want to have a modern looking light. I'm using it here just because it kind of replicates a light inside a glass, which is like a lamp. And I just put a carpet on top to match the hopper texture. If you want to decorate your light a little bit more, I've got 2 designs that you can do here on either side. So if your city is very floral, you've got flowers everywhere because it's the old town or something like that in your European build, just place a leaf block simply directly to the side of the hopper. And then you can just put I need to crouch. And then you can just put a steel iron trapdoor underneath, so that way it looks like it's sitting on something and it's kind of connected. Or the other thing you can do, if you want town banners all over your town, just grab a barrier block, put a dark grey carpet on top, and then you can just attach your banners to the side of it, so it kind of looks like you got a little attachment for your town banners. So that's my European style road here, and now we're just going to move on to my modern average city style road. So you see this one quite commonly in Minecraft. It's just the bluey colored grey clay blocks here. quartz for my road runners. If you don't like quartz, I noticed that a lot of roads also are this yellow color here. Again, like my European build, I have got the same stone brick to make guttering, and then I've just used the half slabs here to build my footpath. If you're lazy like I am, just build one wide, and that way you're also saving resources, especially if you're on a PvE world. I'm just lazy, so I've just done the one slab there. To decorate, I've just built a very simple lamppost here. You can do more decorative ones. I've just gone very simple. Again, I've used the beacon because it looks like a light enclosed in glass, which if you do look at the details on top of street lights, it is a lamp over a light bulb up the top. So I use those to try and replicate. I've also built a little, these are just decorative things you can do if you got parking spaces. I've just built a very simple parking station here for people to pay. I've done a item frame, and then in the center I've just got a painting, as you can see, which I've just flipped around. I've used a painting because if you look at it in vanilla, they're that checkerboard thing. It kind of looks like old computers when they used to be like have their error messages or things like that, or startup, specifically startups when it was the black with the white. So I'm kind of using that because it looks like old TVs and things like that. And I just put a button down here, and then I've gone for a blue carpet on top just to add a little bit of color. If you want, if your city has a particular color like red or orange or something like that, you could use that carpet to accent it, just so that way it's kind of like your city has its own personal touch for its parking stations, because councils do run parking things. I've also just got here some pot plants, same method that I use with the lapis over there, except I am using the andesite, diorite and the granite blocks here. Typically in CBDs, if they do have pot plants, especially in older buildings, you'll find that pot plants are those concrete looking ones. So I've just gone for the concrete polished stone look here for a little bit of a more city kind of look. If you want to add a bit more detail, I've just put some buttons on this one here just to give it that little bit more. And on the other side of the road here, I've just built a little seating area here just using stone brick, so it's like a concrete bench. I've just put the trapdoors around the back so it completely enclosed to give it a little bit more detail. And just on the side here, what I've done, I've just put a podsill down in there to make it look like it's been mulched with bark. I've put a large fern and then trapdoors just so it looks like it's got little planter boxes kind of attached to it there. I find if you do the single flower, it's a little bit too empty. So I usually like to use this double tall plant method just to give it a little bit more of a bushy, realistic plant. I've also built here a little garbage bin type thing, so I've just done general waste and recyclables. I use the end stone portal to do this, and trapdoors. I think it looks quite nice. It does actually look like a garbage bin because it does have the hole up the top there, so it does actually look like a garbage bin. And then I just do my wood on the front, naming them so that way you kind of got wood going the whole way around. And I've also just built a very simple tree like I have showed in my previous tutorial, my cottage garden, just using the dark oak fencing for a tree trunk, and then I've done oak leaf, just scattered it around, very natural looking, wonky to make it look realistic. And then I've just done podsill down the bottom and a couple of flowers on either side. This is a good idea if you want to add some greenery to your city. You could do one maybe every 10 blocks, just have a tree, and that way you could have a tree-lined road. So the next one I've done here is kind of a wacky one, I suppose. I've gone for a futuristic look. So obviously this isn't going to be for everyone's taste. This is just something I've done for fun to play around with. So I've got two styles of footpath here. I've done iron because obviously if you do look at futuristic builds, they are typically white, blue accents, things like that. So I've done iron for the sidewalk here just to differentiate from all the quartz that I've done for the road. Obviously you can make this road a bit wider if you like. You could go two decorative designs wide, and you can try and make a little lane thing in the center. Maybe you could even, if you wanted let's say if you did the 2 blocks wide and then you had 2 lanes, instead of going for something like the lines on the road, you could try and make it a bit more modern and do glass. Maybe the future has flying cars. So just something to differentiate the 2 different lanes of the road there. The blue would also look really nice with the white actually. I've just done diamond here as well. Normally diamond isn't used a lot in builds because it can be quite dopey, but I think it looks quite nice with the white, and it just adds a little bit like a pop of color, just so you're not whitewashing out your design here. So I've got the iron on this side. On this side I've tried to go for 2 kind of different designs using the lights you find in the Guardian underwater temples. So one I've gone more all over and then a couple iron, and then the other one's a checkered look. You can do whatever you like. Again, you don't have to do these are just suggestions to give you some ideas. Also for my street light for this build, I have done a floating one. So I've just used the underwater light as well. I've used some iron trapdoors, some white glass panes here, and I've also done a endstone rod just because you see that the endstone has the particle effect, so it kind of gives off the effect that it is actually floating. I've done the same effect over here on this little stoplight I've made, also floating. Again, I'm going with the idea that if my city had flying cars, the traffic lights would probably be floating as well. So just done iron blocks. I've just done some different levels of the glass pane here. And then obviously the endstone particle down the bottom, and then I've used just item frames and wool blocks to do my little colours and a trapdoor on top. The other thing I've got in my city here, I've just got a quartz bench, different design from this one, which is more like a chair. This one's got more, I suppose, armrests. You could do something like this over there as well if you prefer this design. And I've just tried to build a very wacky looking tree. So I've used the end rods here just to make kind of like branches and a tree trunk, and then I've used blue, light grey and white blocks here to make like a glass futuristic-y looking tree. Again, if you don't like the complete glass look, you could do things like mixing in white wool or blue wool in with there just to add different colors. If you are in a creative world, another thing you could do if you do like it is using ice. Ice can look quite nice with blocks like the glass blocks. So if you don't like the look of all glass, you could maybe put in some ice, a couple of wool blocks, so you can see your tree's already got a bit more texture there and different contrast of colour. Just up to you, do whatever you like, do what works with you. So we'll just move on to our next build now. So this one here, it is a road, but I suppose it's more of a foot road through a park, or maybe you've got a road going through your park because you've got service things in your park that you're building or things like that. I've just gone for the pathway block, I suppose, that you do with the iron shovel. So I've just made that here. I've done 4 blocks wide. And then just to make it look kind of like the park is growing into it, I always try and merge my borders together. So as you can see, I've got my coarse dirt and my podzol here going into my pathway. And then over here it goes out a bit. I've also got grass. So I've just tried to do a mix to kind of make it look like a natural kind of, I suppose like a wooden forest type pathway here. This is a bit more foresty woodland, I suppose. I've built a simple light here using dark oak fence posts, a redstone lamp which I've got a daylight sensor, and just done some dark oak gates and just some brown carpet on top just to have a little light post. I've just accented with the oak and birch leaf blocks, which I really like to make shrubs and bushes out of. This one here I've gone for 2 colours because you can do that, it looks fine. And I've also gone just some grass, and then I've just built a very simple oak tree here. Obviously it's cut off there so I'm not interfering, but yep, so this is just a simple good idea if you want to do a more park or forest type road. Even if you wanted to make this thinner, or if you had a park and you wanted to build a footpath type road with the dirt, that's fine. So this road can be used for numerous things like that. Okay, so this road here is a little bit of a more fun one that I've currently got going on in a village that I'm building on my PvE game on the server here. So this is a rainbow road. I suppose it's kind of inspired by the Mario Kart racing roads that you see that are quite fun to drive on. This is something that's very easy to make even in PvE. This is what I'm doing because it's fun. I kind of like it. Why not? So I've gone just for white wool blocks underneath, just so you don't want to do something like this wood here or a green and then you're losing the color. White makes the color pop. So I've done the white wool. I've just gone for the stereotypical rainbow colors. I've got red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. I personally, in my town, I do actually like the look of the wood next to the color road here. I just think the dark oak does actually look quite nice. If you don't like the look of the dark oak though, you can go for the white here. So I've just done the same effect as I did in my other roads by using quartz stairs to make a gutter system. And then I've just gone chisel quartz for a nice look. Just up to you. I think this can be quite a fun road. If you just want a little bit something more fun or playful for your town or something a bit different, this can be a nice solution for you. So this next road here that I've built is your kind of like suburbia style road. Not every suburb has redstone brick. I have seen in America redstone brick, and it is here in Australia in some suburbs and some roads, so you can find them. So I've just done the redstone brick here for the road. I've done grey stone bricks for the gutterings. You don't want to use bricks and then brick staircases because it's going to be a bit too much brick. You just want kind of looking like concrete. I don't think they make the brick roads with brick things anyway. So you'll find that brick roads have the concrete guttering. So I've gone for the stone brick here. I've just left a little gap on either side of the guttering here, so it's more like grass at the front of people's front lawns. So I've just got grass on either side. I've used the stone slabs for my footpath, so it looks like it's got that cracked look that you see on footpaths, like the lines where they poured the concrete. I've got some little shrubs, some flowers, so this is a very suburbia road. I've also included, if you like, this is my take on a power pole. So I've just gone for spruce fencing, the spruce block up here, 2 slabs, and then all I've done here is I've just grabbed barrier blocks. As you can see, they're just outlined there. I've done barrier blocks along just 1 block down, so no, 2 blocks down. So I've done barrier blocks. I put my grey carpet on top just to look like power lines, and then I've just put another row of grey carpet on top here. So it'll just go up and it'll match up perfectly. I think this is quite a cool thing if you want to try and include power poles in your build. The only other way you could really go about doing something like this, if you wanted actual string and you've got shaders or texture packs that will show it quite well, you could use the trapdoor wire and just have one on either side and then run the string across. That could work. I've done a few beer gardens and done things like that to make string lights. I just think that the carpet here gets a better effect with the horizontal type look rather than just one string. So yes, the next design here is not so much of a road design but a decoration design for the road. So I've just built a thing to replicate a cliff here or a hill. I've done my basic road, and then I've done on the side here, they've got those barricades and guards that you can find on highways. So like if you were to crash into the side guard, it would crumple up to stop the impact of your car. I've just tried to replicate that here by using some anvils. I've just done barrier blocks, and then I've just done the matching grey carpet on top. Kind of looks like the barricade there. It's probably the closest you can do because there's nothing really horizontal. You could try and use wood, what are they called, signs. You could try and use signs, but the wood just doesn't look as authentic as something grey and metal. So I've just gone for the anvils here. So this is more of a decoration than a road design, but this is something you could think about to make your hill or cliffside roads a bit more decorative, so not as plain. So the next road that I've built here is a country style paddock road. So I'm just going to flip to the other side because of my sunflowers. So if you have ever been to a farm and someone has their pickup or their ute and they're driving around the back field, you'll typically find that where they drive, they leave these, as you can kind of going over my cursor, they'll leave these marks in the grass where their truck will go every day. And eventually the grass wears down and you have like 2 strips where the car goes. That's just what I've tried to replicate here. So this is if you have a farm build or something like that, and you maybe, let's say you have a driveway to the front of your farmhouse and then you've got a barn to the side a bit, but you want to make a pathway to the barn, this could be a really good choice for something like that, just so it looks like maybe you've got a car that's going in between your house and your barn. It also kind of replicates a road. If someone saw this, they would know that obviously it's a path and they're kind of meant to follow it. So I've just done the pathway block here with the shovel. I've used a couple of coarse dirts here just so it looks like some areas are a bit more worn into the ground than others. I've just done grass, long grass. I made a couple of shrubs, and I've done sunflowers and daisies just to make it a little bit more like a plains or country style build. And I've just built a very simple little tiny oak tree. So yes, so this is a good country road. Next road here is more for your Arctic build. So this is a ice road. If you've ever been, or if you even see it on TV, they have those ice trucker type shows or things like that. You'll find that they always have these ice roads. They drive over the ice. The only other road you're going to really find in the Arctic is like actual paved, like tar roads, poured tar. So you don't have to go with this, you could just do tar, kind of like that one there. But I've just gone for ice roads, so it's something a little bit different. I've also noticed that on PvE worlds, people do actually use ice for transport. So, like, not transport, but like, you know, transport, fast jumping roads. So if you want to try and do the ice road, but something a little bit different, this could be a good choice. You can just run, and as you can see, it works perfectly fine like an ice road. Just a little bit more decorative, more like a Northern Arctic Circle driving on the ice road. So all I've done here is I've used the packed ice and the ice. I've done a couple of the white wool blocks just to add some contrast in here. I've got snow blocks, and then just all I've done is I've grabbed those snow carpet, the snow little thin layer ones. I've just put them on the sides of the road so it's built up. So obviously you can't create a gutter like that as I've done with my modern city roads, but this just kind of adds a little effect like this is a road. You can kind of see it outlines it quite well. And then I've just placed a spruce tree, because obviously spruces are in the Arctic areas of Minecraft and things like that, and just some snow blocks. So the last road that I've done here can be used in a mesa biome or a desert biome. It's completely up to you. This is obviously, as you can tell, a desert road. I've just used the grey blue clay block like I have in the modern blocks down there. I've done the white quartz down the middle. It is actually 3 blocks wide on each side of the quartz, but all I've done to make it look like you're in the middle of nowhere, I've done sand, sandstone, and I've actually brought them into the road, so it's kind of like it's chiseling in, and it gives the road that aged look. A lot of areas on the highway roads are quite unkept. They're not really kept modern by the government, so you find they'll be very sandy on the sides, not very direct, here's a road. So I've just brought the sand in a little bit. It would have been nice to use grass to decorate, but obviously you can't put grass in sand or Minecraft, unfortunately, so I've just tried to use some dead bushes, stones. I've done cactus, that was actually 2. If you want to keep it 2, so you've got a couple of different heights, obviously barrier block. I've also got a skull here which looks like a little stone, so just so you got some different sizes. And then I've also just built here a very quick retro style highway sign, kind of like the ones you see on Route 66. Obviously you can make this as big or small as you want. I've just squeezed it in here because it was cutting into my ice one, so I've just done a smaller one here. But this is a cool thing that you could have on different areas of your highway. If you're on a PvE world or creative and you want to advertise your town and you've built a road going through the desert, building something like this would really catch people's attention. You could even put a couple of signs here saying up at northeast there is a town called blah blah, these are the coordinates, things like that. Just so that way it's kind of a way to catch people's attention when they're flying or moving around and they know where to look. So yes, as you also sorry about this, you can also do, as for deserts aren't always sand. Sometimes, especially like Australian outback, you can have the orange sand. You can replicate exactly this but without the cactuses and just use the red sand. So if you just do red sandstone and get rid of the cactuses, this can also be a really good road for your general like Australian outback type desert type things. So yes, as you can see, there are my 10 roads, different decorations, designs. I hoped it helped you. Please like and comment below if you have any suggestions for anything you'd like me to build for you or any tutorials, things like that. Please also comment. Please subscribe if you want to see more of my builds, and thank you so much for watching. Thank you!